everyone. Welcome to Football Lab and our special episode of the Euros, episode 3. We're going to conclude the second match days of the group stages. And joining me is Pete and Chris. How are you guys?
Hello. How's everybody? Good?
Yeah, good, thank you. You guys been watching the action?
Yeah, not all of the games, but most of them I think I did watch.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're going to kick off with, firstly we're going to discuss Group D and England's disappointing and quite frustrating draw on Friday against Scotland. And then we'll move on to our team of the week, which is Germany, and how they got on against Portugal. And then we will move on to Wales in Group A, and then with a brief overview of Groups C and B, and then we'll finish off with Spain, who are currently winless. So let's begin with England and Scotland. What did you think of that, Pete?
Yeah, very disappointing from England. I remember last week I said that England would thrash Scotland 3-0, especially after seeing how Scotland lost to Czech Republic. I thought England would do better, especially they played at home at Wembley. And to be fair, Scotland were not worse than England. I think Scotland could have won that game as well. England could have won that game, but Scotland had some pretty clear chances as well. So it's definitely disappointing from England, but Scotland kind of impressed me with their playing, definitely.
Yeah, I thought that England played poorly, but to focus on England, sort of distract from how Scotland played. Actually played okay. A few sort of decent chances, but I thought the game really turned on John Stones' header in the first half, which hit the post. If that goes in, England have won that up and could easily have gone on to win 2 or 3-0. But after that, it was sort of quite lacklustre on England. Had a lot of the possession sort of around Scotland's third around their goal. Didn't have any decent chances, and that's not what you need to do well in the Euros.
Yeah, sorry, Pete. Go on.
Yeah, I think that the England players should be more clinical, especially near the net. I think they were poor in that regard, and that's why they didn't score a goal. I can say, well done for not conceding as well. So that defenses are tight, but you have to take your chances when you have them. And if you play against a stronger team, in the knockout stages, that not taking the chances could be fatal.
Yeah, I think I mentioned earlier on my Twitter handle that I think there were 2 main issues. I think England supporters and the England football, mainly the players, they need to accept they're not going to win this tournament and that they're probably not going to get to the semi-finals either. They need to accept that they're not at the level that Germany were, which was, Germany played amazing yesterday. They're not at the level France are. They're not at the level Italy are, and who got 100% record Italy. Holland 100% record. 100% record for Belgium. They're just not with that caliber of those 4 or 5 teams. Because those teams aren't disappointing with 0-0 draws against Scotland and not being able to score, and they're not winning 1-0 every single game against Romania or Austria. They're more clinical, like you said. They're more clinical, and they're finishing teams off. At the moment, we're not seeing a team that is a well-oiled machine. We're just seeing a team that is basically doddering through, really, and kind of just.
Yeah, but
do you think, Pete?
Stumbling forward.
I just don't agree with the statement that they should now just convince themselves that they're not going to win the tournament, that they're not going to go to semi-final. No, because if you put that self in your mind, then you're already a loser. You need to win the game in your mind first before you walk out the pitch.
Sure,
I do sort of. I agree with Pete that you can't look at this one result and now say, England or Watford are going to go out. And pundits, I think, in England are quite good at always quite harsh when England lose and quite over optimistic when England win. So maybe Croatia, I said last week, it was like the best team in the world and they win the tournament and we draw with Scotland and suddenly we're going out, it's Iceland all over again. So we need to have more of a rounded view, understand that, we're going to win some games and lose some games and, can't win every game. it was a poor result, but I do think still England are a decent team and that you've got a good chance of getting at least to the last 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not that bad. Okay, it's 0-0, but as we said, Scotland would wanted to prove more than any other team against England because it's a home nation, big rivalry. You always play this game kind of differently than any other. It's only one game. It's a point. England still have 4 points. If they beat Czech Republic, which I think they will, then they're through easily to the next round, and it gets more intense and more serious as you go further and further, and then you start to take it seriously. If you look at Portugal 5 years ago at Euro 2016 in France, they drew all the games. They finished third, and they won the European Championship. So we can't say that England drew now. Yeah, it's disappointing, but we can't say that they're already out.
I just think that that's tempering expectations because nobody said that Scotland were going to draw. Everybody said England are going to win 2 or 3-0. Everybody said that. Including us. I know I thought they would win 1-0. I thought it would be a tricky game, but I didn't know that they would play as well as they did and they get a 0-0 draw. But I just think that maybe that game puts into perspective the expectations, really. And I also think that Gareth Southgate I don't think he needs to make wholesale changes and make 7 or 8 changes, but I do think he needs to change the attack. I think Harry Kane looks exhausted. He should be rested for this game and put him on the bench so he can play maybe the final 15, 20 minutes. I'll give Dominic Calvert-Lewin a chance. I'll give Jude Bellingham a chance. And I absolutely think that Jack Grealish and Jadon Sancho should play.
I think Pete's right, though. I'm going to come on to the Czech Republic game now, I think. But it's true that England are probably through anyway. But if we win that game against Scotland, the last game against Czech Republic is probably a dead rubber, probably already through mathematically, not just realistically. So we can rest players then. You can have the squad fresh around a 16 game. Whereas now, even though we probably will go through, you can't bank on that. You've got to, if he plays a reserve team in the 3rd game and then we lose, it's going to look awful and he's going to look like he's that's really poor sort of planning. So I think now, the fact that you haven't won, even though, I think England will still go far, I've got to say that it has an effect on the team fatigue.
I think that Sterling, though, he seems to just take ages on the ball, though. He seems to take ages on the ball. He seems to dither, and it's like you seem to lose his possession. So, pass and keep the ball rather than lose the ball. So I'm a bit frustrated with Sterling, I think, like other England fans are. But moving on, I've got a few pertinent questions to you guys. Do Scotland have a chance to go through?
Yeah, they do. But they have to be Croatia. And Croatia are put against the wall because they only have 1 point. They drew Czech Republic, lost against England. So they're going to put everything in the power to win against Scotland. But Scotland also will be the same. They're definitely more build-up, motivated. The morals are high after drawing against England and Wembley. So you never know. It's a game that is hard to predict. On paper, Croatia should win, but you never know in this game. There's a big chance for every team in this group to go through still.
Okay, and seeing that Croatia and Czech Republic drew 1-1, what do you think England's chances are going into the Czech Republic game, Chris?
I think that England will probably still win. On Czech Republic, I've played fairly well against Scotland. They won fairly convincingly, and drawing against Croatia is not a bad result. But I think a lot of English supporters now are almost trying to pretend that not beating Scotland was all part of some sort of plan to come second, and that actually against Czech Republic we don't want to win because we don't want to win the group. It just feels a bit sort of unsportsmanly to say we don't want to win the group, want to come second to get like a better draw in knockout stages. So I think England will win and should hope to win that game in order to go through as group winners, which is more instills more pride than coming second.
Do you agree with that, Pete?
Yeah, 100%. I agree that England should not calculate. It's a strong team. No matter who we face, we have to beat them. You cannot say, "Oh, it's going to be easy in 1/8," because you're going to eventually play against a better team in the quarterfinal or the semi-final. And if you're a good team and you believe in yourself, you have a strong squad, then there should not be any calculating. And 100%.
Yeah, I think you said that to me on WhatsApp earlier. You said that you'd have to play them anyway, whether it's the quarterfinals, you'd have to play Germany or France anyway. So you may as well top the group and play them in the last 16 because you're going to play them anyway. So that's a good point.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that I think going back to Scotland, by the way, that they're a much better team than they were 25 years ago when England beat them at Wembley in 1996, famously.
I'm going to go back to the Czech Republic game now, because I was actually impressed with Czech Republic. Croatia, I expected that from them because their squad is now very mature and the young players still need more experience. So they are kind of in the rebuilding phases. With Czech Republic, definitely impressed me. I thought that they will not have a chance against Croatia in this regards. I thought Croatia, after losing against England, would be more motivated and to win against Czech Republic, and they weren't. In the second half, when they were losing, they tried to do something, but the game was equal at max. So well done to the Czech Republic. Really, really nice looking at them, how they played and the motivations. I think they can get through.
I think didn't Czech Republic beat England at Wembley, or they beat them in the Nations League, or in
they lost 5-0 at Wembley, but they beat them 2-1 in Prague.
Yeah,
2-1. I think 2-1 is. I think it's 2-1.
Yeah, one thing that a lot of people have been talking about is the squad selection. A lot of people have been saying that Kane should not start. I'm not sure I agree with that. He is a good player. He may not had his chance yet, but won the Golden Boot at the World Cup in 2018. He's an amazing player. He should start. The one decision that I don't agree with is Foden came off in the Scotland game at about sort of 65 minutes, and he was playing really well. I thought he had a really good game, and he came off, and it clearly it didn't work. He didn't win the game. So I feel Foden should start as well, and Grealish is a great player as well. He should start too. More players that maybe didn't excite as much in that Scotland game. Sterling is nearly one. So perhaps changing them around and bringing in Rashford might be a way to spice up the team a little bit.
Yeah, I think I agree with you guys that England should go out and win the group. Absolutely. I think the only thing is that I still think that they need to refresh the team and make changes because they're not scoring enough goals. We want to be winning games 2-3, 4-0. I know the quality of the opposition is good, but 1-0 every game is not attractive, and neither is 0-0. So I'm hoping they can bury their chances and be more clinical. The last thing I'll ask you guys is: are Croatia still going to be dangerous in this tournament?
I don't think they will be very dangerous. If they make it out of the group stage, and depends who they play, because I think if Poland goes through, I think we might play them, and I think Croatia can go through that team to the quarterfinals. But if they face any other team, I don't think they can. I think that the journey might end there. But to be fair, I don't think they will qualify. I'm going to put it out there. I think it's going to be England, the Czech Republic, going through third place. Yeah, the third place might make it, but I cannot predict Croatia, Scotland. Scotland showed a warriors fight against England, and they can surely do the same, or even better against Croatia.
So you think England, Scotland, and Czech, or England, Czech, and Scotland? That's what you think?
I think England, Czech,
and no third place will go through.
It's hard because if Croatia and Scotland draw, they both have 2 points, and 2 points is not enough.
No. I think Croatia has not really excited this tournament as much as it did in 2018. I mean, I've got a lot of players that have retired, Rakitic, Mandzukic. They've not played amazingly, really. Czech Republic actually played better than Croatia, I think. So I can see it being England, Czech Republic going through with no third place. If Scotland, Croatia draw now, they're probably out. And we know that realistically, you can scrape through with 3 points and you're probably guaranteed it with 4, but 2 is probably not enough. So I think either of those teams are going to have to win in that last game, even if it is Scotland.
It is a very interesting game, though, because both teams are fighting for qualification still. And yeah, I think Czech Republic will make it, but same, you never know. England might surprise us and win a 4-0. Then Czech Republic would be in danger. I'm not saying that England will do that, but it's possible.
I've seen too many England games at big tournaments to expect 4-0.
Yeah, I'm not saying this is my prediction, but if I'm going to go for a prediction, I say 2-1 England.
Didn't everyone think 3-0 England against Scotland in terms of commentators, pundits, fans? And that never happened. But Scotland have got good players. Kieran Tierney, they've got Andrew Robertson.
Andy Robertson.
They've got Scott McTominay, Che Adams. They've got good players. So they're not as... I don't think they're as... I think people don't give them the credit they deserve. So I think
because they lost to Kazakhstan 3-0 in the qualification. I think they have those slip-ups, but Scotland... Yeah, Scotland are doing better than I thought they would be. The game is against Czech Republic. They might have been a bit unlucky, but at the end of the day, yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's very hard for me to predict. Even England now, I still think England will win 2-1, but you never know now.
And you guys think that England are probably going to most likely play someone from Group F, which is what we're going to go on to now, the Group of Death. But is that what you guys think? You think that England are probably going to play someone from there?
It's possible, yeah. If they win the groups, certainly, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I think so, because I think they will win. But who? Portugal win against Hungary, lost against Germany now. Yeah, let's move on to Group F and let's talk about that group. I think that would be...
Yeah, so, I mean, a 6-goal thriller, probably the best game of the tournament. And Germany coming back from 1-0 down, even though they had a goal disallowed, coming back from 1-0 down to win 4-2 against Portugal. Chris, what did you make of the match?
I felt like Portugal started fairly well, but it's kind of a typical thing with the Germans that even when you think they're going to do awfully, they always pull it out of the bag, and they did. Played really well, and they hold on to the end, even though Portugal got a sort of a consolation goal not far from the end. And I think now Germany will be favourites to go through. Hungary have now got a draw against France, but realistically, I think Germany will walk all over them in the third game and go through 6 points. And then it will be whoever wins against France and Portugal who gets the other second place spot. So Germany, I think, will now sort of go through fairly easily, and we'll have to see about the second team.
And is it more likely that France will beat Portugal and France will top the group?
Yeah. I think France now, after a shocking draw to Hungary, will beat Portugal. Portugal, very disappointing. Against Hungary, they struggled. The first goal Portugal scored against Hungary was in the 84th minute, and then the rest of it was very unlucky. Hungary was very unlucky afterwards. But against Germany, Portugal were just standing there defending. I don't know what they were defending. They conceded a goal, then it was disallowed, and then they had this one counter-attack in the 50 minutes where Portugal scored. So they had a good kind of base build-up for the game, and they lost it. And Germany didn't bother with it. They didn't put them down. They just played the classic German football that we saw in the World Cup 2014 when they were winning. They just carried on, and absolutely walked all over them. And they scored a second goal, but Ronaldo, I think, did a good job. Like he always carries Portugal. It was clear in that game as well.
I'm surprised because Portugal got Diego Jota, they've got Ronaldo and Bernardo Silva, and I think who's the fourth person in that kind of quadrant? I think it's
João Moutinho.
No, Bruno Fernandes. So I thought that
Bruno Fernandes is disappointing this season. This Euro. Bruno Fernandes is not at his level like he should be. And I don't know. Germany had to be motivated because they lost to France. So they had to be like, they couldn't calculate. They had to go out there, and this is the perfect, example for the teams that lose the first game to forget about it, wipe it out of their memory, and start afresh, and motivated to win. So well done to Germany for to push that.
Okay, so do you guys think that Germany have breathed new life into their chances of winning this tournament?
I think they've
possibly.
It'd be hard to say it ever sort of went away. A really good team, actually, Germany, and they've been in the semi-finals of almost every major tournament other than 2018 for 15 years now. So anybody who wrote them off from first game, I think was wrong to do that. So they've always had a lot of life in there. But I mean, played really well, and that's a sort of thing teams do to win a tournament. So I think now they've got a chance of going far, and certainly it'd be a lot of a relief for manager Love to kind of end on a high with the Euros final, or even with winning it.
Yeah, the reaction back in Germany, according to my friend who's German, I think, and he in Hanover, he told me that the Scotland-England game got more attention than actually Germany winning 4-1 against Portugal. But he kind of lost interest when France beat Germany. But this was a surprise result, I think, for German fans and for the football community to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but this was. Go on, Chris.
With France, I was surprised they drew, to be honest. I mean, didn't they too
badly?
That's
more shocking.
But Hungary played okay, actually. And Hungary are not a bad side, but, a lot of people expected them to be the whipping boys in this group and to lose all their games. So the fact that they and have the point there, they're still going to go out, I'm sure. But it means that they're sort of more likely to go out with a bit of pride than they'd lost that game. But France, I still think will go through and it'll be a favourite tournament. But actually, if you think England have now drawn their second game, the same as Portugal, where they've actually beaten the World Cup finalists, and Portugal have beaten, France have beaten Portugal, European champions, and then drawn. And everyone says England are sort of out.
No, France. Wait. France didn't beat Portugal yet.
Beat Germany, sorry.
Yeah.
Again, my team's beat Germany and now they've drawn. England have beaten Croatia and drawn, but there's a very different attitude.
Yeah, France, Hungary, that was very interesting. Some people say that the tricolor was played badly because of the weather. In Budapest, it was 35 degrees. But I don't know, you have such a good players, you cannot blame the weather. Hungary definitely surprised everyone with that draw. And France struggled. In the second half, they struggled. At the start of the game, they were strong. It looked like in the first 10 minutes, it could have been 3-0 for France, but each minute they started to fade. And even in the second half, they got that lucky goal, that drawing goal, because of the Hungary defender made a mistake. I don't know what his name is, but he basically just wanted to clear the ball out, and he passed it to Antoine Griezmann. So very unlucky, but still a great result for them.
Yeah, Hungary did well at the last. They qualified for the last Euros, and they drew 3-3 with Portugal in that tournament. So we knew that they were good, but to draw with the world champions and to be 1-0 up, I think the stadium, and for the first time since coronavirus lockdown,
50 full stadium
in the Puskás Arena that's ever happened.
Yeah, I heard apparently that they want to move final from Wembley to Puskás Arena in Budapest.
That'd be a good idea.
Because of the fans. Because England will not, end lockdown as they were planning to do tomorrow. It's now been moved on to August.
Is it not 4 weeks? I thought it was okay.
Yeah. It might be. I don't know. To be fair, I don't know.
But yeah, I mean,
that's different
to talk about as well, I guess. Yeah, we haven't get walked down.
Group A now.
Yes, so moving on to Group A, and that has concluded tonight with Italy winning 1-0 at the Stadio Olimpico against Wales, and Switzerland won 3-1 against Turkey. So Switzerland were in third place, just on goal difference. Wales pipped them to second place, and Italy, with a perfect record, topped the group. What are you guys' thoughts on Group A?
Seems likely now that with three teams will go through: Wales, Italy, and Switzerland. Wales are actually through. They got 4 points and have come second, if only on goal difference. So they played really well. And I think in the World Cup, they didn't even qualify last time. And before the last Euros, the last major tournament, they were in 1958, and now there are 2 successive Euros in knockout stages. So that's going to be huge, huge for them. But Italy as well played really well and got perfect record now with 9 points, and I think clean sheet as well in all 3 games, which is amazing. Really, sort of the only team now who's not slipped up, other than maybe Belgium. Netherlands have won all their games, but easily, not easily in the Ukraine game. So Italy had the only team I think that have been reliable and really just sort of breeze through their group.
Yeah, I said that Italy way back they would win the Euros. I still gonna stick by it. It is a long shot. There are many good teams in this tournament, but yeah, Italy did their job great. I think they maybe not necessarily struggled against Wales today. They won 1-0, but they kind of rested. They knew they were through already, so that's why I think it was 1-0. Wales, on the other hand, definitely surprising, because after the first game against Switzerland, I thought they would finish 4th. They didn't have anything, I didn't feel they have anything in them, but that draw definitely put them through good spirits, and they beat Turkey, and they drew, and they now was with Italy, but they are through from the second place. Turkey, disappointing. I thought they were one of the dark horses with Ukraine, and no, the worst team on this tournament.
Yeah,
exactly. They lost all 3 of their games, which is pretty
Yeah, and seven goals conceded, 1 scored only, I think. No, even more. Is it 7 or 8 goals even conceded? Something like that.
Yeah. What do you think, James?
Yeah, I think that. Well, I think Wales have done really well. I think they were underdogs, and considering they had that late change of manager, Robert Page, he's done a good job. I mean, to get a draw in the first game against Switzerland, a really good win in the second game against Turkey, and they did well against Italy. They helped, to hold them for long periods of the game, and it was a very clever free kick and a clever goal. So I think Wales can be really happy, and I think they've got a chance. Whoever they faced in the last 16, they have a chance. So, considering they got to the semis last time and they were the shock side of the tournament last time around, I think they've got every chance of getting to the quarterfinals.
I think no one predicted Wales to go through. Everyone thought Turkey would be very lethal, and everyone was wrong.
Well,
certainly with Turkey, a lot of people said they were the dark horses. I know they've really played awfully. They've lost all 3 games, and it's embarrassing for them.
But Switzerland
really what they did in 2002. Yeah.
I think Switzerland was also disappointing. Vladimir Petkovic being a manager for 7 years now, Switzerland. Now he's been going with them on the major tournaments for quite every year, 2016, World Cup, and so on, and they finished 3rd. I think they should have done better.
Okay, so moving on to Group C, because first place in Group A, which will be Italy, will play the runner-up of Group C, which looks likely to be Ukraine, with Holland holding a 100% record
so far.
Going into the final matches. And Holland will play tomorrow against
North Macedonia.
North Macedonia, and Ukraine play Austria in probably the winner takes all for second place. What do you guys see as what's your predictions for how this is going to pan out?
I was surprised. Well, I think Netherlands will win the group because they have North Macedonia, which I think will be 3 or 4-0 for the Netherlands. I was actually surprised with how well North Macedonia played against Austria, and probably more how they played against Ukraine. I expected Ukraine to be better, and it was 2-1, so they just slightly managed to pull it off. Well, I still think Ukraine will be second. It's going to be an interesting game against Austria, but yeah, Netherlands first, Ukraine second, Austria third, North Macedonia fourth, and I think Austria is not going to go through.
No.
Yeah, I can see
from this group.
Yeah.
I can see Netherlands and Ukraine are going through. Netherlands are doing really well. And I said they didn't play all that well against Ukraine. They almost lost, but or drew. But they've got 6 points now. I'd say that's enough to win the group actually. And Ukraine as well have played okay, and they
have
held others a pretty decent fight.
Good team with Zinchenko, Yarmolenko, Yaramchuk, great. And the keeper, I forgot his name, but the keeper, Ukraine keeper, is great as well.
Yeah, I think Ukraine played very well against Holland. That was also one of the top games of the tournament when they lost 3-2 and came back from 2-0 down to 2-all, led by former player Andrei Shevchenko. And they won the second game, didn't they, against North Macedonia? So really, I think that they're in a good position against Austria. And I think David Alaba looked really frustrated against Holland. Like, he's captain of that team. He's in a different league. He's one of the best defenders in the world, but he doesn't seem to have much of a supporting cast to support him. So it's difficult for him.
I guess well, the other thing, Group A, I guess, is second place plays winner of Group D. Second place in Group B, I should say. And Denmark, I think, they're out of it now, I think. It's more like Russia. Finland's win against Denmark, I feel it was almost a fluke. It was only, it was delayed, and there was like that, obviously, awful incident with Ericsson. So I feel like Russia are more likely to come second in that group. And they played okay. I mean, it seems likely that Belgium will go through, I'm sure. Or guaranteed, I think.
I don't agree with you, Chris. I think that Belgium will win the group now. They have Finland, and I think it's going to be the easiest game for Belgium. But I think Denmark will beat Russia. Denmark absolutely played very well against Belgium, and it was they were unlucky not to come with a point.
Braithwaite hit the bar in the last minute. They played really well. They had Belgium on the ropes that whole game.
And taking out of context that Denmark, well, the whole situation when Denmark played against Finland, because I think Denmark would have beat Finland. Russia struggled with Finland a lot, and they won 1-0 just. So, and Denmark will definitely want to prove that they are strong. They started to doing this against Belgium, and I think they can do it against Russia, because Cherchesov now and his team is lacking this kind of leading, this kind of spirit that they had during the World Cup at home 3 years ago, where they went to the quarterfinals, beating Spain. I think Denmark can be second in this group even.
I'm not sure, but Denmark have got no points so far, and they could get 3, which is possibly enough to come third and get through. But I feel like second with 3, they have to get a lot of.
No, sorry. So yeah, they might be third.
Yeah, but it's possible, but I still think that they'll go out. Even if they come third with 3 points, they have to win their last game. But
Chris, do you think that
it's
Denmark
not really enough to win the?
Do you think that Russia will beat Denmark, you say?
Yeah, I think so. Or possibly a draw.
I'm saying
Russia 4, which is probably enough to go through. And Belgium, I can see winning their last game against
Finland.
If I could just weigh in on this, guys, I would say that the heart wants Denmark because of what happened to Christian Eriksen. I agree with you guys in the sense that the heart wants Denmark to go through, and they had the talent. If that game against Finland got replayed, I think they would have won that game, and they would be in a much better position. Against Belgium, they deserved a point because they played really well and had their chances to get a 2-all draw. But the problem is with this Russia game, they have to win it, because a draw, 1 point's not going to be good enough. Neither is a loss. So they have to win, and even with 3 points, a win is difficult to get through, but it's not impossible. So I can see what Pete's coming from, but I also think Chris is saying it's going to be a difficult ask.
I think that Denmark are the most unluckiest team of the tournament, but I still think that Denmark will win against Russia 1-0, dominating the game easily. Group B, I think Belgium, Finland, 4-0 Belgium, possible.
Yeah, without something like Kevin Keegan, I would love it if Denmark went through, but I think it's unlikely. I think I'd love it if they went through, but I'm not holding my breath.
And that takes us on to a really nice point now, because Chris, you call Pete pessimistic Pete because of his.
Exactly.
He was absolutely sure that Poland will go out, but yeah, he believes in Denmark that they will go through. Let's move on to the Poland game, because last night they more than held their own against Spain, and Robert Lewandowski, their talisman, got them a 1-1 draw. What's you guys' thoughts on that?
I think they'll go through now. I think they've got a point against Spain, and they've now got Sweden, I think, in their last game. And if they win that, I said they're certainly through. I think they can win that. Playing okay. Lewandowski, you're right, scored a great header last night in that game. I think they can go through, and I've got a bet on them to get to the final. So I'm as excited as you are if they do go through, Pete. But I hope they do, and I think they played okay. And they were my sort of dark horses for the tournament. So hopefully that will come true.
Yeah, people are saying that now. The tournament starts for Poland right now. But yeah, we are lucky in that game. We are usually unlucky in the game. We're lucky against Slovakia. But in this game, we're lucky. Spain had a penalty and they missed. Straight after we scored, they had a penalty and they missed. Gerard Moreno missed. I like what happened, because Ferran Torres said in the conference that he's not scared of Lewandowski because Spanish midfielders will eat him. Well, now he has to apologize for that statement. So in Spain we're lucky because Spain was definitely attacking, but today we did something that we didn't do yesterday. We did something that we didn't do against Slovakia. We played as a team. It was more sportsmanship, and finally they shown some character.
It's a very open group, though. If you think about it, I mean, Spain have only got 2 points on their unbelievable team. And you'd have as the favourite to go through from the start of the tournament. And Sweden have got 4, so it's 4-3-2-1.
Well, Spain is
Spain and Poland now, if you know what I mean. So I think any team go through, and Poland, I think we won on
Spain.
You do this.
Spain right now is in pain. That's definitely. They only have 2 points, and they have to play against Slovakia and they have to win. It's interesting because if Slovakia wins and Poland wins against Sweden, then Slovakia wins the group. I'm hoping that Spain wins and we beat Sweden and that we finish second, and that's going to be good enough for us. But Sweden is going to be a hard game, because we never played well against Sweden, and I think last time Poland won against Sweden was in the 90s. So it's going to be definitely a difficult game, but I think if we play like we did against Spain, and the team is going to be now more motivated, I think they can pull off maybe a 1-0 win. But I'm still kind of wary about it.
I think that Robert Lewandowski needs more support up front. I think that if they play Piontek, and by the way, I got my pronunciation spot on, by the way. If they play Piontek and Milik, and they play those two up front with Lewandowski and play like a 4-3-3 and play 3 up front, they can try and smash through Sweden.
You know why they are not playing? They are injured.
Milik's injured? What, Piontek's injured as well?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay, fine.
So, yeah,
will they not be ready for the Sweden game?
I don't know, maybe for the Sweden, no. Maybe if we make it to knockout, maybe one of them would be healthy. But yeah, that's why it was a big blow when I heard that they are both injured, because we need that help. Lewandowski is not good only by himself, especially because, I understand why Ferran Torres was laughing about Lewandowski, because, in major tournaments, we only have one good player, like amazing player, and the opponents always cut him off. There's like five defenders and midfielders on him, stopping him, and that's why he doesn't have this open space. But Spain play a different game, Spain play a totally different game. They tried to attack and they opened up, and Jóźwiak from Derby County assisted Lewandowski great with that.
Did Jakub Błaszczykowski retire? Because he was good.
No, he still plays, but he's not being now called for the team. But
he was good.
But he's now kind of, 36, I think he is, something like that. I think he still will play in the national team, because there still has to be this kind of goodbye match. But I don't know if he will ever make it to the tournament again.
Yeah.
Okay, so England, or in an unlikely situation. Scotland play second place team in this group in around 16, so that could be Spain or even Poland if they get to that stage. So I think England would be confident if they got to that game.
I really would like. I really would like to play Czech Republic. We lost to Slovakia. Let's avenge the other team, Czechoslovakia. Let's now play Czech.
Okay, so imagine, guys. Imagine if Poland beats Sweden, they will be on 4 points. Sweden already have 4 points; they're in a strong position to go through. And imagine if Slovakia get a draw with Spain, because Spain can't seem to win at the moment. Like, we complain about England drawing with Scotland, but Spain can't seem to get a win. So Spain could be bottom of the group with 3 points, and Sweden could have 4, Poland have 4, and Slovakia have 4. Is that the best case scenario for you, Pete, as a Poland fan?
No,
I think we'll end the show on that.
I don't think no, because I think if
you want to win the group.
No, the thing is, if we all have 4 points, then I think it goes to the how many goals we scored and conceded, and so far we conceded the most goals. So Sweden and Slovakia will probably go through on that regard.
No, but remember, third place team will go through. So if you smash through Sweden and win 2-0,
we'll go through with 4.
But do you think that the 4 points are going to be enough?
Absolutely.
I think
because
4 would be
some
enough.
teams have only got 1 or 2 in third, maybe 3.
Yeah, but
the last time
Switzerland
went through last time with 3 points and 0 goal difference. So I think with 4, you'd certainly be on the cards to go through.
It would definitely be interesting to see Spain be bottom.
4 teams. Yeah, imagine if Spain get dumped out.
But to be fair, they were really cocky. Well, I don't see it. I think they're going to win against Slovakia. They have to now. They have to put everything out there on them.
Yeah, and I think so. What if you had to make final predictions? Are we saying Poland are going to go through?
I'm going to say Sweden first, Poland second, Spain third, but I'm not sure if Spain will go through or not. Spain third, and they might scrape through with a third place qualification.
I think that's impossible. If Poland beats Sweden, automatically Poland will be higher up than Sweden.
Maybe Poland top of
Wait and see.
It's hard to predict. I think Spain will beat Slovakia, so Spain will win the group. It's hard to. My heart tells me we'll beat Sweden, but my mind says it's going to be a draw, or maybe even a loss. Yeah.
Thanks, guys, for everything today. I think we're out of time, but thanks again, Pete and Chris, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you very much, and see you guys next week.
See you next week, our team of the week. This week. So we'll see you next week. All right.
Italy next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.